What if we can improve the way schools are? How can we change and rethink education so it's better?
10 ideas.
My 10 ideas.
My 10 ideas.
The 10 ideas.
My 10 suggestions for improving school.
10 things that I would change about the current education system to help school.
That would make schools better.
That would make a school a better learning environment.
To make school a better place.
I think could help the way schools teach and how kids learn.
10 ideas to improve school. Obviously not forced upon me as a homework assignment or anything.
What would I like in a school?
School would be so much better if everyone sat in, for example, a Papa-san chair, and they could just relax while still learning.
A comfier student makes a happier student.
You can go into any classroom, pretty much any in the world, and you'll see that there are hard chairs and desks, and they all face towards this, the lecturer, the chalkboard, or the whiteboard, or the smart board.
A treadmill desk, I don't know if you've heard of it or not, but John Green has one and I'm really jealous. You walk less than 1 mile per hour and you're just moving while you go, and you burn about 100 calories more per hour than you normally would, and in 8 hours that's a lot of calories to burn.
Campus is like a home away from home, so it should look and feel like it.
I kind of want a cubicle. I know that sounds... cubicles are just supposed to be boring and stuffy and awful, but I think if I had like a small room with a computer, maybe some books and stuff where I kept my stuff instead of maybe a locker.
So I think we should have a student lounge, where there's comfortable couches you can go through on your breaks, maybe during study hall.
Cut the library in half, put a whole bunch of pillows and blankets in there and sleep and just relax. You can study.
To make a more comfortable and aesthetically pleasing environment. So I would much rather be in an environment that I have beanie chairs and those bouncy balls to sit on, where it's comfortable and it's if the walls are painted blues and pinks and different colors. The classroom should be painted. They shouldn't be white, that's so boring. Where is the creativity in white? Maybe they should be painted warm colors. It'll feel homier and more inviting and interesting.
The ideal school could have study rooms, group project rooms, music rooms, laboratories, art studios, lecture hall, concert hall, and more. When an environment is conducive to a particular task, and all the materials for doing that task are laid out, it makes it so much easier.
How do you expect someone to be really productive in less than, a foot of space? It doesn't work. You need to give students, more room to think. I can wiggle. I have wiggle room, and it's good. I have space to put everything, and I have space to spread out and hunch up and put all of my writing utensils out and get creative with my notes.
I think that we need conference rooms.
One big Last Supper table.
Maybe putting sofas around in a circle so that people can have more class discussions.
Small class sizes.
An editing room. For essays and college apps, I think it would be awesome to have an editing room. I know we have English teachers, but even if students could apply to be in the editing room, it would be awesome. They could just go, and that would be they could get volunteer hours for it.
More outside learning areas would be nice.
Kids do not need to spend more time on the computer. They need to get outside and connect with nature. You can learn a lot from the outdoors.
Get outside and be outside and be walking around and, get them to see other parts of their community.
I want open spaces and real lighting from the sun.
Just get rid of fluorescent lighting, please. Trust me, no one looks good in fluorescent lighting.
Those bells?
Why can't we have a more peaceful bell like chimes?
And have bells like in Japan. In Japan, the bells are more like chimes. They're beautiful, they're nice, they're not these buzzers.
And come on, bells. I mean, we're not cows, and we're not machines. We don't need bells. We're human enough to know when we can go and when not.
Change when school starts, depending on the seasons.
That whole 7:45 thing is way too early.
Maybe starting around 9 or 10. Just because it doesn't match the circadian rhythm, the sleep patterns of teenagers, and so it naturally just leaves us doing worse off in school.
I do not believe that we should have a structured schedule at school. I believe that we should be able to learn our classes when we feel like it, so we can gain information when we want.
Maybe there shouldn't be periods, like set periods for classes. Some kids learn better at different times of the day, and some days it's just like, I just don't want to do math right now, and other days it's like, yeah, math. So I think you should learn what you want when you want it.
Have yourself teach yourself a lesson at home, and then during class time you can ask your teacher questions on things that you might not have understood that well when you were learning it at home.
Personal learning time. I mean this in the sense of going out on the internet and seeing all the information available to you and learn for yourself. I think this is great for a student that wants to look into other things that school doesn't cover and get a better sense of the world around them.
I think we should ask kids what they want to learn.
Let's give the students more control over their learning.
Autonomy is the urge to direct our own lives. Mastery is the desire to get better and better at something that matters to us.
What if we got to work on something that we're really passionate about and follow our passions, and what if we were asked, what do you want to know about? And actually had time set aside for doing that. I think that would be amazing.
I believe kids want to learn, and that they want to make a difference. Field trips and internships at local businesses, something they do at High Tech High, help students to see more of the world and to understand how it works. In their internships, students at High Tech High felt respected. I think that if students did not have to do schoolwork on the weekends, they would end up doing something equally, if not more, amazing, and that they would learn valuable things, just because they wanted to. Instead of doing homework, students should be required to keep a journal, a video blog, photos, or some kind of evidence of their weekend experiences.
I think we should be testing people to see what academic age they are and be grouping people together by their academic ability instead of just how old they are, because you can have a 15-year-old that can do the same thing as some genius 8-year-old. So I don't think that should be how we determine who's in which grade.
This age discrimination lessens when students reach college, but why does it have to be there in the first place? It would make more sense for students to be in classes based on their ability or their interests.
There should be classes built around not your age, but your skill level and your motivation and your interest in various topics.
I feel that high school and school in general should have the opportunity to be more specialized, that classes focus more on things, more things, so kids in these earlier years can get a taste for what they would like and what they want to do maybe later in life.
So curriculum should not be so prescribed. Don't teachers know their students? Shouldn't they know what will help their students grow and compete in the global economy?
I think we should get rid of standardized curriculums.
Teach us things that we need in the real world. We learn how to take tests, but we don't know how to do our bills. We don't know how to fix things that go wrong in a house. We don't even know how to give proper speeches. So I think that we should have classes such as home economics to learn how to pay those bills, or hardware to learn how to fix problems in households, or speech classes, because speech is important in literally any job that you could have. I think that we should just have classes that are really specified towards the real world.
Make the information that they're being given more relevant to their lives.
You're learning best when you're learning something that's relevant to you.
These courses should help us prepare for the responsibilities of becoming an adult, like how to purchase cars, how to purchase houses, mortgage taxes. We should learn how to write checks, pay taxes, how to set up retirement funds or plans, and like how to buy and sell stocks. I feel like that's really important. My parents are doing all that, and I'm kind of just like, wait, what?
Consumer math, if you're not going to do a math-based career, consumer math is really helpful. Well, it's helpful for everyone because it's math that's used every day. Like, oh, you have to learn how to like pay your taxes. You learn it in consumer math. How to pay the tip when you eat at a restaurant. You know, you learn really key things like that you use every day in your adult life, you know?
There should be a public speaking class. This is because public speaking is a vital tool out in the working world.
The debate would teach you practical skills that you can use throughout your life and you actually should use. Now that I have these skills, I use them all the time. These skills that I've gained are critical thinking skills, speech skills, research skills, the ability to think on my feet more quickly and articulate those thoughts that come out. I've been able to point out logical fallacies in conversations with people, especially my parents, and in the media. I think that one is extremely important now that we're getting close to the age to vote. We need to be able to analyze claims critically and really be able to look at both sides of an issue to decide really in the end what's best. And also be able to follow your own reasoning. That's something that's extremely important.
A class for talking. People need to learn how to communicate with one another, not over technology. They need to know the natural way to communicate. So a verbal class will help people get this strength.
We should have some sort of a current issues class where students go in and learn about things that are happening in the world now. And, you know, projects are structured around that. And we cover topics of world importance that are happening right now. And, you know, we share views and opinions with other students. And we kind of learn about politics and get more educated on things that are happening in our world now. And, you know, we form opinions, own opinions that we can carry into the world and, you know, possibly create a difference. And I feel like this would be an awesome class. And it's just another thing that I feel is really relevant in today's society and something that should be integrated into schools.
I feel really dumb when I speak to adults and don't really know what's going on in the world. And I feel like I'm living in a bubble. So I think that a current events class, or even just, you know, like if an advisory we talk about things like that, you know, it would be, I don't know, it's educational and it would just be really helpful.
I would start a world studies course. This wouldn't be a course based on homework and based on essays. It'd more be a class dedicated to asking questions, learning about anthropology, language, and culture from around the world.
International programs. If I had an unlimited money, I would develop that a lot and authorize people to travel a lot more than they actually do and make it less expensive and more common and be able to go wherever you want, whenever you want, and one day maybe be in China and the other day be in France. Woohoo, France. And I think that's the most amazing experiences are from traveling and discover other countries and cultures.
I think we should start teaching foreign languages a lot earlier, like in elementary school.
To be able to contact people from around the world and to ask them for advice and to ask them for help with things or to see what they've been doing, and maybe you guys have been doing the same project and just filling in the missing puzzle pieces for each other.
Food can be a learning opportunity. Schools could teach kids how to eat healthy and how to grow their own food. There's a lot you can learn through gardening and cooking.
I think everywhere it would be better to have just really good bullying rules to keep everyone kind of happy. Even if you're not cool or not popular, you can still have a good high school experience.
I think to apply to a college, you should submit a portfolio of things that you've done, kind of like how you would if you were applying to an art college.
There should always be a physical education or just physical class a day. This provides for more time for students that cannot contain themselves sitting in a classroom all day. A great example of this is me.
I believe that we need to have more hands-on activities and more doing things, because some of us can learn from just taking notes and from just writing out a piece of paper and doing problems, but a lot of us learn very well from doing hands-on activities that really get us to gain a different part of knowledge than we would from just taking notes.
Make it more of a social thing, so people more interact and learn to work together and build as a team and as a society.
So if we have Even just to have group work in every class instead of having individual desks, more having one big table, I think even that forces you to talk to people and to share ideas. And I think that would help tremendously.
Teachers should also collaborate with each other.
There should be a lot more projects where students are expected to work together with other students, because when you go off to college or even when you get a job, you're not working completely by yourself. You're working with coworkers and you're working with other people, and you're expected to get along with them.
Most classes, especially when it makes sense, should be more class discussion.
I would want my classes to be discussion-oriented classes.
That we shouldn't just be memorizing things in textbooks, we should be going out and experiencing them ourselves and being able to learn from ourselves, learn from doing, not learning from reading about it.
Trying to remember, oh, I remember when I read that. It's much harder than saying, oh, I remember when I saw that in real life. It's just much more memorable, and it will really play more of an impact on you. You'll definitely take more out of the class.
Debates, walking around the classroom, like the four corners stuff, activities like that, that's really fun.
I want it to be project-based. I want a lot of time into one project, because it's really not quantity, it's the quality of the project. So I'd rather have one big thing I could put all my time and effort into and really understand that subject.
I think that if students do something independent like this, where they obviously have their own autonomy, and if it's something that they're motivated to do, that they feel like they have a purpose in, they will work harder at it and learn something from it.
It is important to for teachers to understand how each student learns and kind of maybe involve all sorts of types of learning methods into the curriculum.
The Google Doc style of learning. So when we do projects, we could have also a new category called class projects, where we all pitch in different ideas into a big Google Doc, and then we can share that and collaborate over that.
Instead of making busy work, you should make all work meaningful or not give any, because it gets in the way of other classes' meaningful work.
Provide unique problems and encourage creative thinking.
I think we should begin to trust our kids and let them do some of the work themselves, because we will.
I think that working by yourself is more challenging than the teachers giving you resources and you just exploit the resources that you're given, but instead you go more in depth and research the resources by yourself, which is basically like the way they used to go to the library. I mean, I don't go to the library anymore to study, but I go on Google and I find my own resources instead of just using what's given to me. I think that's too easy.
Focus on idea and concept and connections and less on the raw information.
So information we can really get anywhere, and I think that if we don't not only find information, but we find other people's opinions on the information and other ideas about the information, other perspectives on the information, we have a more understanding, we have a better understanding of the information, theoretically.
It seems as if, although technology and the world in general has changed quite a bit, school hasn't really changed much since, well, the past few hundred years.
Nowadays, we have cell phones that have Google on it, and we have computers all around, and we have Wikipedia, and we have information that can be accessed very easily from any given spot in the world.
I think that technology should assist learning and not just have learning revolve around technology.
So I think that it's important that when we do use technology in the classrooms, it's in a way that students want, in the way that students actually use it in their everyday lives, and the way that students will use it as they continue.
To allow technology to become a tool and not a distraction.
So we really have to start taking in technology instead of looking down upon it, use it in a better way.
I've been thinking about printed books, and I'm not sure they're relevant anymore in the era of technology and the internet and digitalizing books.
So if I had books on the computer or I had it on my phone and I was able to just pull up my textbook right when I'm at home.
If that book was online for us, but also with us, I think it would be easier to get work done.
Technology is awesome, and the things that students can do with it is amazing, and they're using it to learn. And I think I think that more people need to get that, and I think that more teachers should be encouraging students to be able to use what they have available to them.
We should have technology during our testing times. What I mean is that we still have the test on a piece of paper, but we also get to use our phones and Google to be able to answer these questions. I believe that we should do this because we're going to have technology through our life, and our technology is only increasing. So why not be able to use our cell phones on our tests, and why not be able to look up on Wikipedia random questions that we have?
Change what we think about cheating. There is a difference between collaborating and copying, but when you're able to, have a student explain it, because a lot of times when students explain concepts, especially in classes that I'm struggling with, or with a concept, a lesson that I'm struggling with, having a fellow student explain it to me is usually a little bit more helpful than having the teacher explain it to me, because the student kind of thinks on my level.
I'd say have a test on the way of doing things. Say, teach them something in class, teach them a way to do it, and then give them unknown situations on a test and have them use their knowledge to figure out how to do the equation.
Vocal tests and hands-on tests would really show how experienced and how knowledgeable the person is in certain topics.
The ability to retry, because you're always going to fail, and you're going to need more chances than one to show what you really know.
They should be asked, how can you learn from this mistake, or how can you overcome this problem?
It's okay to fail, and I think that's a great concept that we should really apply more in school instead of punishing failure. Like Edison said, I have not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work, and yeah, I think we should use that more in school.
Everyone wants their kids to get a good test score, and it shouldn't be about that. It should be about the experience and learning, and not about some numbers.
No more standardized testing.
Test taking is an important ability in high school. It basically vanishes and becomes useless once you get into the real world. And so it doesn't make sense that we should put so much focus on this, on taking a standardized test, over things that actually matter, over actually applying yourself in your studies and doing things that you're interested in.
A standardized testing really tests kids on what they don't know rather than what they do know. And it also is something that doesn't show kids' creativity and what they're capable of coming up with and positively affecting the world with.
So do students really need a teacher? In an interview about the future of libraries, Thomas Frey talks about how, in the future, kids will be able to take a majority of classes online. But I think there's still a use for the classroom teacher. Teachers can help in motivating students, and if they are experts on a topic, they can be a really good source to consult. They can offer advice and steer kids in the right direction.
I also think we need to place more value in the job of teacher, because teachers really play a big role in our society.
In other countries, teachers are paid like doctors. If being a teacher was more respected by society, we would have more better qualified teachers.
I think that teachers should receive better pay, and then, if there's better pay, there's going to be more competition. So more competition means that the more qualified teacher is going to get the job, and results in better classes.
I think that teachers should be given more prestige.
And you're educating the new generation, and if you want more smart kids to come out of school and more innovative people to come out of school, you need to have good educators. And I think that they play a really important role in our society.
Teachers and students who really and truly care about education.
We need to focus on our education of the next generations for all the crises that we're dealing with now. So instead of acting upon those, we need to act upon the youth that are going to act upon those.
Really, we spend more time at school than at home with our families and stuff, and so, this is a family here.
We're not an assembly line. School needs to evolve.
I really hope that someone, maybe influential in schools, listens to this and really not only listens to it but understands it and tries to do something about it.